What an absolutely packed finale of Rick and Morty. I mean, they're throwing shade at Netflix and Star Wars.
Become the thing I hate. It's like a Netflix drama down here, and I don't mean an accidentally good one.
You know all that Star Wars is silly, right?
Plus, a 3-hour cut of Miracle on 34th Street? Come on.
2 hours longer? They fixed my only problem with it.
Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation is a solid send-off to a great season of television and a particularly strong season of Rick and Morty. I've been saying this every week, but Season 6 is a really good return to form of consistent quality for the show. While I don't think Season 6's finale is as strong as the Season 5 finale, or even up there with the best episodes of Season 6, it still does a commendable, entertaining job at putting a cap on this season. Even if we're still waiting for the actual plot payoffs that it promises. They even managed to squeeze some Christmas cheer into the episode. So, why we're here? Happy holidays! It's the time of the year where we get to listen to substantially worse music. Yay! Let's talk about Rick and Morty. Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation is as if they took the previous 3 season finales and smooshed them into a single episode. Think of Season 3's Presidential Showdown, Season 4's Star Wars themed spoof,
They are skewing a tad Star Wars-y, though.
and Season 5's canon moving the show forward momentum. There's a lot going on and it's easy to get lost in the many threads Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation is juggling. Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation is most like the Season 6 premiere Solar Ricks, and it is a mostly single plot story and includes the entire family, while keeping up the plot and laughs. It's fairly good. However, in comparison, I do think this lacks the bulletproof pacing and extraordinarily tight, satisfying storytelling that the premiere had. I suppose it is time to address the particularly nice robot elephant in the room. Reviewing Rick and Morty weekly and in good faith obviously means I'm going to be wrong. It's the nature of a show with this caliber of writing. There's no way I could have known that this line here
Are you a robot? Morty! A clone? Morty!
would be among the most important of the previous episode. Thus, when Nice Rick was revealed to be a robot, I felt betrayal. Betrayal on all sides.
Betrayal! Betrayal on all sides!
I had a real crossing my arms moment and was like, okay then, this is the game we're playing? Fine. In my head, I think back to the brilliant Pissmaster episode and the Jerry Cookie episode where Rick made decisions that felt earned and now I was feeling cheated. Luckily, the damage was kept to a minimum. It was only last week's Sun Knights episode that had nice robot Rick.
I replaced myself towards the beginning of that whole Knights of the Sun thing.
I mean, I'll have to slightly eat my words. Rick continues to attempt change, and we get a version of Rick because it wasn't Rick, it was a robot. On top of that, they literally were just doing Vat of Acid again. Overall, I don't think this changes my thoughts on the Sun Knights episode. In fact, I feel this very much cements it as an episode that is fine, with the most memorable part being a reveal that doesn't happen in the episode. Oh, and I guess David Mitchell talking about chopping off dicks. Back to Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation. So, much like Morty, the robot reveal broke my trust. However, luckily the rest of the episode works to earn that trust back, and narratively it was quite exciting and entertaining. The gist of the episode is Morty gets a lightsaber for Christmas, the writers pulling out another brilliant nerd shower thought of what happens when a lightsaber is dropped perfectly fucking vertical.
Perfectly fucking vertical. Perfectly fucking vertical.
With the lightsaber on its way to destroy the planet, Morty is forced to team up with returning, ongoing character of the United States president, who suitably turns out to be a toxic Star Wars fan. Meanwhile, nice robot Rick hangs around with the Smith family, having beautiful, genuine family fun, and attempting to break the news that he's a robot. On top of all of that, Rick continues the hunt for his nemesis, Rick Prime. To dish out some quick praise to Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation, there's some great slow-mo sequences and state-of-the-Star Wars fandom quips that are fun. Additionally, the show continues to have pretty great, quick-witted comedy writing, as is the standard for an episode of Rick and Morty. Rick Robot wanting to die brings some nice levity.
Fly! Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. What a shame to be put out of my misery again.
And a handy plot conclusion that neatly wraps everything up. My biggest issue is that the episode doesn't feel grand enough. It's not as low stakes as the season 3 finale, however, it most definitely has the feeling of setting up what's to come in the following seasons. I look at the season 5 finale, which I see as a high point for the show. I remember a concern I had along the lines of only future installments can mess this up. A basically flawless story with only the potential future installments to fuck this up is outstanding. These are thrilling threads and notions that need satisfying conclusions and payoffs. To my express delight, Season 6 did pay off a lot of the cliffhangers and questions left from the Season 5 finale shakeup. Straight up in the premiere, to portal travel being broken for half a season. I have a lot of faith in the writing team, and thus it seems, once again, we'll have to wait until the next season to fully judge what's going on.
Rick and Morty Season 7, Hunting My Nemesis.
Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation does have some really satisfying smaller moments. I particularly enjoyed the speech dying robot Rick gave that regular Rick clearly cared enough to make this loving robot, and that the choices the robot makes have to be options that Rick could program in the first place. It's a nice place to end that continues the overall season theme of Rick attempting to change in spite of his nature.
But maybe he can do a little more himself. God, how long do you take to die?
As stated beforehand, the writers are not letting Rick cheat. There's no robot shortcuts to redemption. While Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation may not be the grand status quo show shakeup that we tend to see every 2 seasons or so, which tracks that this would be a lull season for overarching concepts, however, it's not bad. I might even say the episode's great. And that's it for Rick and Morty Season 6. My top tier episodes are the premiere, Beth incest, Fortune Cookie Jerry fucking his mum, and Pissmaster. I think all of those episodes are instant classics for Rick and Morty. The others are a mix of quite good to just fine. Space Dinos and Knights of the Sun are my least favourite, however, unlike previous seasons' dud episodes, I still think they're passable. This has been a really strong season of Rick and Morty, which was way more consistent than the last 3. I know that overall, this is a ratings low for Rick and Morty, and while that doesn't include streaming numbers, the show does have the feeling of not quite being the cultural landmark it was at the peak of Season 2 and 3. I hope for the future, as perhaps the show escalates towards an end at Season 10, I'm guessing, and full seasons are readily available on streamers, I have faith that overall excitement for the show could rebound. I'm certainly excited to see what surprises and crazy shenanigans the writers have for us in the following seasons. However, this is where I'm gonna have to part ways in terms of reviewing the show. I may still do a low effort tier list on Rick and Morty episodes, so keep your eyes peeled. Additionally, I would love nothing more than to keep reviewing this show long into 2030. But it just isn't feasible. These videos aren't successful by YouTube's metric of success, and that's fine. That was never the explicit goal, but now it's time to go. Characters change. Shows change. Circumstances change. Nothing is forever, and that's okay. Rick and Morty stands out in the sea of comedies and animated shows in the way it strives for perfection. Well, I like Rick and Morty. I like Dan Harmon's writing style and comedy. Let me remind you, this all happens in a 20-minute sci-fi comedy show. This is more thought and writing than often goes into an entire movie or season of a regular show. Let's talk about the sperm episode. Season 4 planet fucking episode, in that they're a little too random. Maybe that's because season 5 has been a mixed bag. No thank you. I hate anime style crow samurai show. Rick is a god, Morty is a sad. The best episodes are those that reflect small personal changes, trope subversion, and can even subvert its own story in many ways is fantastic. Solar Rick doing a Die Hard. Bethnick Twinksting? Final Deathsmith Nation, Jurixic Mort, Full Meta Jack Rick, Analyze Pierce, Rick and King Mortar's Mort, Ricktional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation. Both Andrei Tarkovsky and Dan Harmon have a place in my heart. Fuck you. What's that even mean? That's just an insult. That'd be kind of funny. That's a good idea for a post-credit scene. I'll be back. Ooh! Ha! Yeah, I think overall this has been a pretty good run of videos. I don't think I've had like a consistent run like this since like Doctor Who Flux, which was pretty much the same time last year. So yeah, there we go. I guess we'll see what the future holds, eh? Ooh! Yeah! Whoa, fuck! Okay.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe.